Alrighty, I think we're live now. Welcome to another episode of Conscious Straight Talk with Katie and Lindsay.
Right. My name is Katie Hutchinson, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm also a certified mediator. Hello, happy Friday.
Is it Friday? It is Friday already.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm Lindsay Kearns. I'm the mama behind MalibuMamaLoves.com, and I'm also a certified conscious trauma-informed life coach. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but it's Women's History Month.
Wow.
So we thought we would take some time to talk to you guys about it. Because, I feel like we talk about women's rights. They're so mainstream. We're always talking about these things. And then it's like, let's have a month on it. And I was like, well, we talk about it all the time. But realistically, it's really nice to have a month dedicated where we can just sit and reflect on the courage of these women and what they did in past generations to celebrate all of their accomplishments, efforts, and bravery to get us to the freedoms and the way that we can live today.
So, Women's History Month serves as a venue to highlight women's achievements, and we can discuss women's empowerment and gender equality issues, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and challenges and commitments and things. It's great.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a quick history, you guys. It all began one day back in February 1908, right here in New York City. I meant here, like the States.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of cool that we were the first,
The U.S.
the ones that brought to attention that we need to focus on women's rights. So, started here in a gathering to march seeking better and fair labor laws and the rights to votes. 1 year later, on February 28th, 1909, the Socialist Party held their first International Women's Day gathering in New York City, and it was massive. So massive, the idea spread like wildfire all over Europe, all through Russia, Asia, even Australia.
Yeah, they
the
were
South
all following
Pacific.
suit.
Everybody was. So the German socialist Clara Zetkin introduced this concept in conference of women in Copenhagen in 1910 to 100 women from 17 different countries.
That's awesome.
In 1910.
Yes.
And then that's really amazing.
Yeah, and then Russia followed suit in 1917.
Yep, and they all agreed formally to honor International Women's Day on March 8th, 1911. So it was really exciting. Then here in the States on March 3rd, 1917 was the first major suffragist parade that took over D.C. Like legit took over the whole city. So many women turned out. I don't know if you've ever looked up pictures of it, but it was an amazing event.
Yeah.
And then it was during this early 70s is when major things started to progress for us here in the States, which resulted in the President Carter officially dedicating the week of March 8th, 1980 to Women's History Week. By 1986, that week had become a month, and here we are today.
There you go. Okay, so in 1970s, we have a lot that went on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom, I don't mean to insult you because she was a 1970s woman. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about a woman named Helen Gurley Brown. Helen Gurley Brown actually was my grandfather's secretary at one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. She then went from there, and this is probably the 1950s, I'm guessing. She then went from there to become the editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine. And her whole thing was, women can do it all, and just hire daycare.
If you want to have children.
If you want to have children.
Yeah.
The thing is she had no children. So it's kind of hard to tell.
That's what brings up a lot of the interestingness with what they were trying to do. We had these alpha dominant females, right? Very career oriented. Wanting to help, wanting to give good information, but not understanding the whole process.
Right.
She probably didn't realize in 1970, whatever job a female could get is going to be paying her less than the child care expense she's going to need for that week.
Yes.
That is common.
Yes.
And they don't realize that.
No. And I want to say in this day and age, right now, and I can tell you because I've been looking for a nanny, the average nanny costs right in the LA area around here, $25 an hour. So you can't be making minimum wage.
Well, I know the average cost if you want to drop your child off is about $15 a day.
Yeah.
$20 a day to do. No, it gets, an hour.
No.
An hour.
I'm like, but it's got to be 15 a day. I'm in the wrong place.
To not a private nanny, but to like,
if you
those
go
daycare
to,
things that they drop you off to.
Yeah.
And it adds up quick.
Oh my gosh.
It's
totally, $25 an hour. It's more than minimum wage. Okay. And it's under the table. All right. So then Helen Gurley Brown. Okay. So we're done with her. Also,
I love the next one.
Yes. Also, yes, I'm going to talk about the next one. In 1973, this woman named Maribel Morgan, She wrote a book called Total Women, How to Make Your Marriage Come Alive. Okay? So what she said is women should be waiting at the door when their husband comes home in just saran wrap with a martini in their hand and maybe the newspaper, just waiting to go for their husband.
And ready to do anything
that they want. Women were supposed to be subservient. They weren't supposed to do anything. You know, everything was about their husband.
What happened to
Yes.
her.
So then what happened was she wrote this book, and it became so popular.
I think it sold 3.5 million.
3.5 million copies. Yeah. She became really famous, and so her husband said, "I don't want you to be famous anymore. I'm like sick of this stuff with this book." And she gave him the bird. And she divorced him. So, you know, I don't know about her advice.
I feel like people are trying to help, trying to do good things, but it gets so mixed in the
messages. Then maybe when you experience something, it's a little different. So now we are in 2020. I'm talking about 2020 right now, even though we're in 2022. I want to say that RKG, Ruth Ginsburg,
she was amazing. God rest her soul.
She passed away last year, and she's done so much for human rights. She was on the
for women's rights.
Women's rights. She was in the Supreme Court, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, she was a Supreme Court head of it.
Yeah.
And but that was at the end of her career.
I know, but we lost her.
She had 50 years of
working for women's rights, but we did lose her a year ago or so?
Yeah. Within the last year.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
So that's a bummer. But anyways, okay, so in 2020, in California, women make 81.7% of what men make in the workplace.
And I do think it's important to notate here that 81%, that's on the medium to higher level incomes.
Yeah.
There are a phenomenal amount of people that are earning minimum wage. Men and women earn the same minimum wage. That doesn't change. We're talking about the medium to higher level incomes and jobs and salaries. Those women are making 80% of what the man is making in the exact same position. And oftentimes they have more credentials and more experience, but still we're getting paid less.
Maybe 50,000 to 200,000 plus. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about maternity leave because the reality is, I always say those 1970s BI, and it ends with an S, really screwed us up because we are now expected to look great, work out, have children. Society does still tell us to have children. Not everybody does. Have a career, not just like, work at, I don't even know, Walmart, but like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like have a full career, have your house perfect, your children should be perfect, your golden retriever should be perfect.
It's really hard now for all of us.
And to do it all perfectly. Yeah, right. And that's impossible. You can do it, but you know, it's so hard, and basically you're going to end up in a mental institution. So,
well, I think there's a lot of solutions, right? And as
you have money
and you can figure out a way, but I think that, there's been a lot of advice that has not been helpful. So, okay, so now I want to talk about maternity leave. In California, we get a total of 12 weeks of unpaid family leave a year, and that applies to males, females, trans, and non-binary, okay? Now, see, this is part of the reason why we started this show. This is a huge reason why I started this company, and this is a big problem, and that is, in America, right, we're so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to work, we're not raising our kids right. We're leaving them alone, and we are having repercussions for that now. And a large part of my premise, my mission statement, is that true change for our country will only happen at home, in our homes. Yet, society has designed and created a system
that we have to be out of our homes
from that.
And I'm guilty of this. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a good mom.
Moms.
Yeah, I'm a working mom, so it's challenging.
We have to pay bills.
I have to work. I have to pay the bills. So, okay, so I wanted to say, I gave you the maternity leave in California. In Sweden,
12 weeks, I can't imagine.
It's insane. I went back after 6 weeks, and it didn't go so well for me. In Sweden, the man gets a year and the woman gets a year for maternity / paternity leave. And that's just like extraordinary to me.
Have you ever noticed how peaceful that country is?
Yeah, they're a lot happier than we are.
How progressed that country is.
But so many, like France, they just walk around, they smoke, they drink wine, but they walk everywhere. They take,
France is a bad example, but Sweden, Finland, and Norway.
The south of France, they're happy as clams, and they live forever, and they're all smoking and drinking, but they do walk.
About stuff, and they smell bad.
They walk a ton, and they do better than us because they rest. And they think we're insane. Yeah. And also the English think we're insane because they're like, why do you work so much?
In Europe, they take their siesta for lunch.
I love that.
A 3-hour lunch.
No, not all of them. Not the French. But yes, or the English. But that would work perfect.
No, the French just work until 11 and then they're done.
Then they're having their wine.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's other countries that are more cognizant and aware that kids need to be home. Why aren't we doing that?
I don't know, but it needs to happen. We're a little bit behind the times. And then there was something else I was going to say that was very important. It was about maternity leave. Oh, over here.
I should. Women's History Month. We're just celebrating and enjoying. Right. So I think we'll wrap it up here for you guys.
I remember. Okay, so there's also something that's very important, and I think we should do a whole segment on this. But right now, abortions are really, really at risk.
I want to just pull up this list because we were looking at this beforehand, and I'm totally shocked.
There's a number of states that have more than outlawed, or
abortion is currently illegal.
Oh my gosh,
illegal! You cannot have an abortion in Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Michigan, Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Texas, and it looks like Florida might be following in suit.
This morning I read that Florida said that you must have an abortion within 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
But incest and rape survivors, no difference. You don't get more time.
Yeah.
So that's very
scary.
disheartening.
I feel like we're almost moving backwards a little bit.
Well, we are, because when was Roe versus Wade? That was in the 1970s. Yeah. So anyways, we can have a whole
conversation on that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys, have a great weekend. Celebrate that
Don't
wonderful
work
woman
too
in your
much.
life.
Spend time with your children and be perfect, everybody.
No.
Bye. I'm kidding.
Be perfectly.
Bye.
Be perfectly imperfect.
Yes, perfect. Yes. Bye.
Bye, guys.